Creativity. Creativity and critical thinking are essential for making effective and unique decisions. The degree and depth of creativity would greatly influence the quality of the decisions and consequently the results of actions that are based upon such decisions. Creative thinking is important to bring about unique ideas, and critical thinking is necessary to criticize and test these ideas so that they are feasible and optimally beneficial. Creativity, though not tangible, is an essential ingredient of organizational growth. Without creativity, organizations would be non dynamic entities and their employees would stagnate into nothingness. Creativity and creative ideas must be socially useful and recognized. Some ideas may be creative but so eccentric that they may not have any socially redeemable value. Accordingly, the utility and usefulness would determine the value of creativity. Creativity primarily means originality in ideas. An original idea is considered to be the one that has never occurred before. If such an idea is the outcome of some established procedure of manipulating variables, it may not be considered original. The world as we know it now would not have been possible without creative ideas put into production. The steam engine that, revolutionized the world of travel was a novel application of an existing idea that steam under pressure tries to escape. We also have a much better control of the world than our ancestors had, and this has been because of discovery and inventions that seem to be based upon a strong element of originality. Advances in medical sciences have saved millions of lives and tremendously increased the average lifespan. We still have a lot of areas to cover within this world and out of it in outer space, and original ideas are being generated daily and put into practice. Next, creative process. The creative process generally follows the following broad outline. First, preparation. Preparation involves a hard and concentrated look at the problem at hand and its various parameters in order to develop a breakthrough solution. Scientists work in their labs, sometimes for many years, before they get a creative idea. The general tendency of the scientist is to look at the various tentative solutions available for a problem. These tentative solutions are generally routine and known solution and hence do not lead to new and unique outcomes. The more tentative solutions there are, the more difficult it would be to generate another different solution. It is the generation of this new solution that differentiates a creative thinker from a non-creative thinker. The non-creative thinker would be satisfied with a satisfactory and known solution. It is the creative thinker who will continue to look for a different and unique solution. Accordingly, preparation in the form of education, training, and research is an essential foundation to build creativity. Next, incubation. Incubation is a time of thought and reflection and is generally a period when the conscious attention is turned away from the problem at hand. The main idea is the observation that some creative and innovative ideas come to mind when you are not really thinking about them, a kind of result of thinking by the unconscious mind. It is something like sleeping over the issue and not thinking about it. Creative people use many different methods to provide this incubation period. They may go fishing or read a book or take a nap. This incubation period is unpredictable in timing and duration. It may take a day or many years. The main idea is that the conscious mind usually looks for familiar channels that are known, but the unconscious mind, free from the constraints of the conscious mind, is able to look at the issue from new angles or put information together into new combinations. Next, persistence. Merely providing incubation period does not necessarily result in creative breakthroughs. Sometimes persistent effort is necessary. Persistent effort would make it more likely that more and new information would be added to the decision maker's frame of reference, or a problem could be redefined that could generate new and different conclusions. This is especially true about highly creative people. According to Daniel Goleman, the picture of the exceptionally creative person shows that at its high levels, creativity involves important sacrifices. For people at the most exceptional level, creativity is a pervasive, almost compulsive preoccupation. Innovative activities dominate their lives, often to the detriment of other aspects of living. Persistence means not only total involvement in the area of issues under consideration, but also requires courage and perseverance in the face of repeated failures or criticism. Next, insight. Insight is the actual point of breakthrough achieved as a result of preparation and incubation. It is the tentative outcome of persistent efforts and thinking when the individual believes that he has found a unique solution to the problem under study. This is the result of extensive analysis of various factors and combination of factors. Even though the creative idea generally comes up suddenly and unexpectedly, it is a kind of eureka state that brings excitement where the person finds what he was looking for and which was deluding him previously. Next, verification. Now the insight or the new idea has to be tested to make sure that the idea is valid and feasible. It is a kind of a critical stage because if an idea is put into practice without measuring its potential utility in a significant manner, then it may turn out to be the wrong decision. A scientist must verify his hypothesis through critical analysis or through laboratory procedures, whichever is necessary, and if the hypothesis cannot be proven, the scientist must formulate alternate hypothesis. Next topic, enhancing creativity. Organizations interested in maintaining and enhancing creativity recognize that excessive disciplines, excessive rigidity in structure, and too much control inhibit creativity. Generally speaking, creativity needs freedom from constraints and especially from time pressures. Even though in certain situations people do develop breakthroughs under time constraints, creative people are intrinsically motivated and they tend to do their best within free and supportive environment. Intrinsic motivation comes into play when we are truly aware of our interest. In general, there are two techniques of creativity enhancement that have been studied carefully. These techniques are brainstorming and synaptics. First, brainstorming. Brainstorming is a technique for stimulating imaginative and novel ideas. It involves a group of people, usually between 5 and 10, sitting around a table in a classroom setting, generating ideas in the form of free association. This generates a variety of ideas and solutions. The leader of the group briefly defines the problem and encourages the participants to suggest as many innovative, extreme, and even wild ideas as possible and not allowed to discourage or criticize the ideas of others, no matter how far fetched such ideas may be. The idea of brainstorming is to create a climate in which people feel free to suggest whatever comes into their mind without caring for its feasibility. This encourages freewheeling, and one idea sometimes leads to another idea. This free association and unrestricted thinking may generate some new idea and a unique solution that may not have been thought of before. Next, synaptics. Creativity assists in developing a variety of alternatives. It is basically the generation of new ideas or using all ideas in a new way from unsuspecting angles. Synaptic, synaptics approach assists in generating such ideas. As Baron puts it, synaptics in operation depends heavily on two mechanisms: making the strands familiar and making the familiar strands. The first of these is a search for similarity, so that when confronted with a new problem, we ask ourselves whether it is not an old problem. Had we but the wit to see it, seeing even partial resemblances may lead to the application of familiar methods in solving the new problem. Making the familiar strands is a way of shedding preconceptions and perceptual habits. Innocence of visions, a certain naivete and ingenuousness characterize, characterize the creative individual. If these qualities can be cultivated, the novelty of invention and problem solution should be increased.